Hi guys, so welcome to Connect with Uganda. My name is Ray. Thank you so much for tuning in. So I'm excited for today's video because I believe this is the most asked question, the most frequently asked question. Everyone is always like, Ray, tell us about land in Uganda. How can foreigners buy land? How does it go about? So today I'm going to tell you all about land in Uganda. By the end of the video, you're going to fully understand what happens when you want to own land in Uganda, especially as a foreigner. So before we dive into this video, make sure that you do give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe, like and share. And I do have a merch shop, so if you'd like to support my channel, I'd appreciate if you go into the link in the description and check out. You could find something that you like in the shop and buy. So to be able to understand land in Uganda, you have to first understand the 4 land tenure systems that we do have in Uganda. These are the ones under which foreigners or nationals can buy and own land in Uganda, and they are the ones that are recognized by the 1995 Constitution of Uganda. So the first land tenure system is called customary land tenure system. Customary land is the most dominant land tenure system in Uganda. Up to 75% of all the land in Uganda falls under this category. So customary land can be owned by individuals, it can be owned by the community, it can be owned by the family members, it can be owned by a clan of people. So the easiest way to understand it is that people found themselves settling in a certain area in Uganda, and that just became their land naturally. So they don't hold any land titles because maybe that land came from their forefathers, to their grandparents, and then to the kids, and then into the grandchildren. So that's what is called customary land, because they have found themselves settled there naturally. So customary land does not have land titles, official land titles by the agreement. Sometimes when you buy customary lands, it's very common in rural areas, I would say, they just write like an agreement with a pen. I, Rachel, I've sold my land to maybe a Sandra, a so and so is here to witness. There is a local leader, just on a piece of paper, and so that's how, and you handle and you sell your land, just like that. So there is no formal documentation, there is no land title. Challenge with it is that if land conflicts arise out of customary land, they can be very difficult to resolve because there are very many people involved, there are very many family members involved, things like that. The second type is called a freehold land tenure system. Freehold simply means owning land without any time limit. So under freehold, the land has a land title that is issued by the government, and the government recognizes it within the government system. So freehold arises out of customary land tenure system. If I had my customary land that maybe my father gave me, if I go and register it with the government and attain a land title, then this land ceases to be customary, and instead it's now going to be called freehold land because I have a land title for it. A third type is called Milo land tenure system. So to be able to understand Milo land tenure system, I have to give you a little bit of history. That's the only way you're going to understand it. So bear in mind that this kind of land tenure system only exists in central Uganda and some parts of western Uganda. So Uganda was colonized by the British, and we have something called the 1900 Buganda Agreement. Buganda Kingdom occupied mainly central Uganda, where the present day Kampala is, and some parts of western Uganda as well. So at the time, the British signed this agreement with the local leaders, with a king at the time who happened to be an infant. And when they did this agreement, land of the Buganda Kingdom was divided into 2. It was divided into Milo land and divided into Crown land as well. Milo land belonged to the kingdom and its officials, and then the Crown land belonged to the British. So fast forward to today, if people have Milo land titles, it means these titles came all the way because back in the day, since 1900, because of the Buganda agreement that was signed at the time. And bear in mind that all Milo land titles were issued before 1928. So they are present. If people happen to have Milo land titles, it is also their land and they can own it without any time limit. But bear in mind that this land only exists in parts that had in Buganda Kingdom, which is central Uganda and some parts of western Uganda. The fourth type is called leasehold land tenure system. So this simply means ownership of land for a particular period of time. So an owner of either Milo land or freehold land or customary land can decide to sell their land under leasehold to another individual. So once the lease expires, it can be renewed for another period of time, still either 49 years or 99 years. So foreigners in Uganda can own land under leasehold land tenure system. Now that we've understood the land tenure systems, let's talk about the process of buying land in Uganda. This is very, very important. I believe this is what everyone wants to know. So I believe that about maybe 6 steps, I should say, in the process of buying land in Uganda. For anyone, whether you are a foreigner or whether you are a local, it's the same procedure. So step number 1 is to find the land that you want. You know, depending on the activity or the purpose of buying the land, it can be for commercial, maybe agriculture, or you want to set up, you know, an industry, whatever you want, maybe a factory to manufacture something. So find the land that you want, depending on your needs, whether you want a piece that is near water or maybe close to the main road or maybe even far from the main road, whatever you want, depending on the purpose of the land. But bear in mind that if land is very close to the city, it's going to be very expensive. The more you move away from the city or the urban areas, the cheaper the land becomes. So that's what you have to bear in mind. The second step is do your background checks, you know, do your background work. Go back, you know, talk to the locals. If they told you Mr. Zakaria owns the land, for example, make sure that actually Mr. Zakaria owns the land. You know, don't take the word for what they have just told you. Go back and do your background checks and ensure that the land is legit. Whatever you can do, make sure that they do for you the background checks, because Ugandans, when they hear things about land, you know, they become very excited. Everyone gets excited when it comes to land because it is a very, very important. In land is very, very important. So people become really excited, you know, and you can easily be scammed. Even us locals, we also get scammed, you know, when it comes to like things like buying land or buying houses. So step is very, very important. Once you finish this step, then negotiate with the owner of the land. If the land is legit, then negotiate with the owner of the land. Yes, I'm interested in the land. How much is it? Can we come to an agreement? That should be the third step. Once you've come to an agreement, the fourth step should be to find a surveyor to survey the land, you know. Let them come. If they told you this land is 20 acres or 5 acres or 15 acres, let them survey the land and actually confirm that it is that acreage that they are telling you. Because someone could say my land is 20 acres, yet it's 19.5 acres, you know, and you end up paying money for all the 20 acres. So make sure that you have a surveyor come and do the job. Of course, you have to have a lawyer involved in all this process. Get the agreements done, you know, make the payment. It could be a bank transfer preferably. Don't give people cash, in my opinion. Pay the money in the bank. Let the lawyer facilitate the agreements. Have your witnesses there. Pay them, and at this moment they are going to hand you the land title and give it to you. So once they hand you the land title, step number 5 is to receive this land title and take it to the government, because they have to transfer ownership. So this is a government procedure done by the Ministry of Lands. They cross out the previous owner. They don't print a new land title. Let's assume it is Milo land or it is freehold land. They won't manufacture a new land title. They cross out the previous landowner and just write your name as the new landowner and the current holder of this piece of land. That's how it's done. So depending on the circumstances under which you've bought the land, it means the land is going to be either freehold, or it's going to be Milo land, or it's going to be under lease, because those are the 3 ones that have land titles. Remember, customary land doesn't have a land title. So basically that is it. That's the procedure of buying land in Uganda. Anyone who is buying land, that's what they have to go through to be able to secure a land title. Once you have a land title for yourself, it is your land. You can use it whichever way you want to use it. You can set up whatever project you want to set up on it. No one is going to come and knock on your door, as long as you did the background checks very, very right, you did all the procedures very, very right. The government has now given you this title and transferred ownership, then it fully becomes your land. No one is going to ask you any questions. So that's how it is when it comes to land in Uganda. I hope you have understood it. I would appreciate if you share some thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think, and I would also be happy if you go out and buy something from the shop, a t-shirt, anything or whatever you like to support my channel. And of course, a subscribe, a like and share, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.